Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial we'll be learning how to make this beautiful Basque dress you are seeing in this video. So if you know you're interested in knowing how this has been done, kindly watch this video to the end. And you know what you will do for me? Please don't leave this video without giving this video a thumbs up, and also remember to subscribe to my channel. Please guys, make sure you share this video. Please share this video with your family and friends, and make sure you stay glued to this channel. Let's quickly get started. So guys, this is my fabrics. I folded it once. I'll be cutting and sewing the skirt first. So from her waist to her hip line is 8.5 inches, but I'll be taking 7 inches because of the band. So the remaining 1.5 inches will be the band. So I will come to her waistline. I will take her round waist measurement, which is 34 divided by 4, and that will give me 8.5 inches. I'll go to her hip line. I will take her round hip measurements, 42 divided by 4, and that will give me 10.5. So I added 1.5 inches for sewing allowance to boot, then I will connect it. So from her hip line I came down by 6 inches. Then from that 6 inches I will now connect it to get that V shape. Can you see what I'm doing? So from her waist to where the V shape is, everything is about 17 inches. So I will cut it. This is the front part of my skirts. Can you see what it looks like? Can you see? So I'll go ahead and use the front part to cut the back part. So the only difference with the front and the back is just the zip allowance. I will slash the back part open. That's for the zip. So I will indicate the zip allowance, and that is it for the back. Can you see? So the next thing I will do is to cut the part I'll be using for the gathers. This has to be very long. I'm using 190 length by 12 inches width for the gathers. It all depends on how big your fabric is, but it's always finer when it's fuller. So I will fold one part, then I will gather one part. So the next thing I will do before I join my gathers is to join the back together. That is the zip allowance. Can you see what I'm doing? So I'll iron it open. So I'll join the back and the front, but I will first of all input all my horizontal measurements. I have to flip it to the back side because it will be more easier for me to identify from here. So from the center back I will take my waist measurement divided by 4. I will do the same thing on my hip line. So I will still do the same thing to the other side. So I'll pin it down before I'll go to my machine and stitch them together. This is the back part and the front part. So I'll go ahead and stitch it. Then I'll come back and show you. Can you see I've done that? I've joined the front and the back of my skirt together. So I will now open the zip side. I will open it. Can you see what my skirt look like? So the next thing I will do is to cut my skirt band. So the width of my skirt band is 4 inches and the length is about 36 inches. Remember, her round waist is 34 inches. So I cut 36 inches by 4 inches width. You can call it wide. Can you see that? This is my skirt band. I iron hasty on it. So I'll go ahead and fold 0.5 inch. That's one side of my band. Then I will now fold 1.5 inches. This will now be the main skirt band. You must have known how I prepare my band, both for trouser. But there are still other ways, but this is the common one I normally use. Unless it's low waist. So can you see? I've attached one part of the skirt. I attached this part I didn't fold. That's the part I stitched to the skirt. Then the part I fold with 1 inch is the part I will use to cover the stitching. I fold with 0.5 inch. Can you see? You have to iron your seam allowance inside before you now close it. Can you see what my skirt is looking like? So the next thing I will do is to stitch my gathers to the V cut part, the down part of my skirts. The total is about 53 inches. So that's what I have. That's what I gathered to. Remember my gathers, before I gathered it, it was about 190. So I have to gather it to 53 inches. In that way, it will be fuller. But if you don't have enough material, you know what to do. Can you see? We are done with the skirts. The next thing I did was just to close the back and fix the zip. That's it. We are done. So look at what the inside look like. I'll weave the skirts. Can you see? This skirt is beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. So we go ahead and cut the upper part of our outfit. This is the top. So I'm taking neck depth of 3.5 inches. You can actually take 4. 4 will be okay for the neck depth. So I will take the same 3.5 inches for the neck width. You can take 4 by 4. It will still come out well. So I will connect it, then create my neck curve. This material is white, so the chalk is faint on it, but I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I'll go ahead and take my shoulder measurement, 16 divided by 2. Then from there I will come down by 3/4 inch. So I will now connect my shoulder slope to that 3/4 inch. I'll connect it to my neck width. So from that 3/4 inch I will come down by 8 inches. This will now serve as her chest or bust line. So I will connect it to the center of my top. So the next thing I will take is her half length. From her shoulder to her half length is 16.5 inches. So I'll connect the line. Then from her shoulder to the length of her gown, length of her top is 25 inches. I will take that. So on her bust line, I will take her round bust measurements. I'll first of all connect the armhole line to it. You see? Then I will now go ahead and take her round under bust on the same bust line. I added 2 inches both for sewing allowance and for ease. So I will go to her half length. I will take her round waist divided by 4. I will add the same 2 inches. I will do the same thing on her hip line. So I will come to her armhole line. I will indicate the midpoint. Then from that midpoint I will go in by 3/4 inch. So I will now create her armhole curve. From the shoulder I will connect it to the bust line. Can you see what I'm doing? Sorry, this chalk is very faint. So I will go ahead and cut. Remember, this is the front part of this top. Can you see? So I'll pick a fresh fabric. I'll place the front part on top of it. So I'll go ahead and cut the back part. So I'm taking neck depth of 1 inch for the back. So the only difference between the front and the back is just the zip allowance and the neck depth. The neck width is the same thing, but I'm not using any zip. I added this zip allowance because of the opening at the back. So I will slash it open. Though I later reduce it to 1/2 inch since I'm not using any zip for the top. So I'll pick the front part of my top. So from the shoulder I will go down by 7.5 inches for that opening at the front. Can you see? So the length of the opening is 4 inches. Remember, I have 3.5 inches for my neck depth already. So can you see? Don't you love? Hope you have given this video a thumbs up. And please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, if you are coming across my channel for the first time, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button in front of you. Thank you so much. So I will pick another pieces. So this is going to be the facing. I'll pick a small pieces. This will serve as the facing for the opening. I'll use it to turn it. I'm turning only the opening, I'm not turning the neck. Can you see that? So this I'm going to turn it. Only the opening, because I'm using bias to turn the whole neck. So I'll do the same thing to the back part. But the back part is about 7 inches depth. So I'll cut out a facing for the back too. So this is how I'm going to turn it on my machine. This I'm going to stitch it. After stitching, I will top stitch on the facing. So we keep that aside. The next thing I will do is to cut the sleeve of my top. The length of this sleeve is about 11 inches. So I'm cutting the two together, that's why I'm cutting the two sleeves together, that's why I have to fold it twice. So from the shoulder tip, the tip of my shoulder, I came down by 5.5 inches. So I will rule a line across. Then I will take the bicep measurements. I came down by 8 inches. So I will connect it to the 5.5 inches. So that 5.5 inches is going to be the crown. It's going to be the cap of my sleeve. Just watch and see. So this is what it looked like. I've made a video on how to cut a sleeve. So if you have not watched it, just scroll down to my channel and do that. So I'll place the both of them on top of each other, the right side facing each other. So the same thing I did to my armhole, I will do it to the sleeve. At the midpoint of my sleeve, I will go in by 3/4 inch. So this part is going to be for the front part of my top. Can you see? So I'll connect it to the upper part of my sleeve. Can you see what my sleeve is looking like? So I'll go to my machine. So let's go ahead and stitch. This is the back part. I'm stitching the interfacing on the back opening. So I'll do the same thing to the front. I will stitch, then top stitch on the interfacing. I'm top stitching now. So I will pick up the second one, I will stitch and then top stitch. So the next thing I will do is to give it a good press. This is the front part, so I'll go ahead and top stitch. Make sure you top stitch, especially anytime you are sewing something like this. Make sure you always top stitch and notch. So after notching, I will now top stitch. If you go ahead to top stitch without notching, it will not relax very well. That's the simple truth. So make sure you do the needful so that you have a good finishing. So I'll go ahead and give it a good press, a very quality one. I will place my hem gum under before I will now iron. Before I will now iron on top of it, it will just stick. Please remember to weave these parts whenever you're weaving. You're doing your overall weaving. Remember to weave the interfacing so that the ropes won't be coming out. Can you see what the center front is looking like? So I'm going to stitch this opening together. So when I'm turning the neck with bias, I will do that. So I'll go ahead and iron the back parts. The same thing I did to the front part of my top. So after ironing both of them, I will now stitch the center back together. I will stitch from where my opening stop. Can you see that? You see what the back part is looking like? So the next thing I will do is to join the two shoulders. Can you see? So after joining the shoulders, I will now go ahead and stitch on the front opening. I will stitch them together. Please guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please don't forget to do that, and remember to give this video a thumbs up. Share this video so that others will see and learn from it. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so very much. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for all you do. Just stay glued on my channel. You will never regret it. So can you see? So I'm done stitching the opening. The next thing I will do is to go ahead and turn the neck with my bias. I left about 3/4 inch of the bias because I've already turned the back neck, the opening at the back. So just watch and see what I'm doing. I will show you when we get there. Can you see these parts? I left about 3/4, so I will now fold it in. Can you see? Then I will go ahead and stitch my bias. I'll go ahead and close it. Remember to top stitch. I top stitch on the bias. so that it will be easier for you. If you don't top stitch, when you wear the cloth, it will be opening, you will see some things that you won't like. So it's very necessary that you top stitch. It's either you are using a facing or using a bias, whichever one you're using, make sure you top stitch. It's something you have to do. Can you see? So this is my sleeve. The down part of the sleeve, I will fold it twice, then I will stitch. I did a top stitch on the sleeve, on that part. On this part I'm sewing now. So it's not a must, it's just your choice. So I'll go ahead and indicate the shoulder and the midpoint of my sleeve. Can you see what I'm doing? I will sew the first part first, then I will turn it and sew the second part. I'm sewing from the midpoint of my shoulder and the midpoint of my sleeve cap. I know you all know how to attach your sleeve to your main dress. It's very simple. Always start from your shoulder. So I'll go ahead and iron. I'll give it a good press. Make sure you iron every stitch you make in sewing. Always remember to iron it, just to flatten every stitch is very necessary. So the next thing I will do is to run down. I'm closing the top, so I will run it from the sleeve to the down part of my dress, of my top, sorry. So guys, we are just at the end of this tutorial. Hope you have given this video a thumbs up. Please, if you have not done that, don't leave here without doing that. Thanks so very much guys for watching, and bye for now. Love you.